I was like, okay, I need to get out of this day, otherwise I'm gonna slap him. Hi, it's me, Brooklyn, and today I'm going to be talking about my overall experience with Tinder and the most awful dates I ever went on. I don't think I actually, no, correction, I never went on a good date through Tinder. They're all bad. Now, before any of you are like, how is this girl on Tinder? She's like, what, 15? I'm actually 23, I just look really young. Which is part of the reason why I attract, some really creepy people. It is what it is. Okay, so, I'm gonna start with the least bad to the worst Tinder date I've ever been on. So I went on one, and this was one of my first Tinder dates, and the guy was, well, I knew him in person before, like, we had talked a couple of times before we even matched on Tinder, and he seemed really nice, and I thought he was really cute, and we were gonna go to, like, the zoo in that area. This was back when I was in college, so I wasn't even living where I am now. So, he ended up losing his wallet the day before, so he ended up just having me come over to his apartment on the campus, which is totally fine because I knew all his roommates, and I knew his neighbors, I knew the area, it wasn't a big deal, he wasn't a sketchy dude. But we just hung out and watched Harry Potter, and he put his arm around me, and literally, it felt so wrong. I felt like he reminded me so much of my gay best friend in that moment. I was like, oh, it was creepy. And the thing was, he had a great personality, I found him attractive, but the minute he put his arm around me, I felt like I wanted to throw up. Also, it was a bit awkward, you know, going on your first date and hanging out with him and his roommates. That's not awkward at all. So yeah, that one happened, and then oh my god, I can't believe I'm telling this. No, I'm gonna tell the other one that's not as bad. So I matched with this guy, and he was super clean cut, and this wasn't in college, this is, it was like a year or two ago. Anyway, so I matched up with this guy, and he looks super clean cut, he talks about how he likes theater and all this stuff, so we get along great, because, you know, I love to sing. And all things theater. So we were like talking through the app, and I thought I Snapchatted him before, because typically I do Snapchat before I meet them in person, but I didn't. So as I'm there, I'm waiting for him to show up, because we were just going to walk around the town and talk, you know, something simple. I was like, I don't think he's going to show up, and then I saw him, but then I was like, he doesn't quite look like his picture, like, he looked like him, but like a dirty hippie version. Like, he looked kind of gross. So I tried to like hurry up and turn around and like walk away, but he already saw me, so I was like, ugh. So he talked to me, and we talked for a bit, and then I ended up being like, you know, you really don't look like your pictures at all. I'm just gonna point it out there. I think you should make sure your pictures are up to date. And he didn't do that. But shush. I'm trying to film, please. So I told him that. Also, keep in mind, he had like long, greasy hair. Like, you could tell he didn't even wash his hair. He came in like sweatpants and like a t-shirt. And since we were having like a chill day or whatever, that's fine. But he had like a holes in his shirt, and it wasn't like a stylistic thing. It was just like in like stains. Oh my god. You know, why did I should have just ran. But then the minute I talked about how he didn't look like his picture, he immediately turned around and was like, well, you don't look like your pictures, which is a lie. I don't Photoshop my pictures or anything. What you see is what you get. But he was like, you looked so much older. He was hating on me because I looked young. I can't help that. What am I supposed to do? Change my genetics? I can't look any older. I've tried. It doesn't work. So yeah, he was mad about me for that, and then, but we still were like, I kinda got along with him, so I was like, whatever. But I told him flat out, I'm like, hey, you drove all this way, we can go play a game of pool as friends, or whatever, and that was fine with him. He was like, that's totally cool. So we went to this bar, and we were playing a game of pool, And as we were leaving, these older gentlemen, like they were like 60, 70, were hardcore checking me out, and it was so creepy. They looked at me like I was a piece of meat. And then I was like, I told him, I'm making sure that you are walking out with me. Like, do not walk out without me. So as we're leaving, and he's like, oh my god, I saw what you were talking about. Does that happen to you a lot? I'm like, yeah, it does. I get a lot of creepy old men. I don't think these guys are normal men. I think they're looking at me because I look young, and it's really creepy. So, yeah, and I just never talked to him again. Okay, now let's get into the bad stuff. Okay, here we go. So I went on this date. I matched up with this guy, and we talked, and he was like, you know, he was kind of cute. He wasn't drop dead gorgeous, but he was attractive. He was more average, I guess. A bit of a nerd. So we're going to go play some pool, and we were having like all this stuff in common, and we're getting along super well, and he's being sweet as pie. So we went to the park nearby, and we're walking around and everything, and that's where it all started to go south. I know this is gonna sound so ridiculous, but the minute he saw like I saw like a chrysalis, and I took entomology for 10 years, so I know what I'm talking about. And I was like, oh, a monarch chrysalis. But he's like, no, it's not. It's swallowtail butterfly. And anytime I tried to talk about something that I knew for a fact was true, and I could like pull it up on Google and show him that it was real, he kept saying I was wrong about everything. No matter what, would not listen to me. I could be like, hey, you know what a red light means? It means stop. And he'd be like, no, it means go. What's wrong with you? And that was the mentality. I was like, okay, I need to get out of this date, otherwise I'm gonna slap him. Because that was ridiculous. I think he was trying to talk to me in a way where he wanted me to feel dumb, so I would like let my guard down. But the thing is, basically the term is negging, but that does not work with me. I saw right through that because, you know, toxic boyfriends in the past. Yeah. So he just kept trying to do that, and he's like, when am I ever gonna see you again? I'm like, never. And then I told him how it was. I'm like, dude, you treated me like I was stupid. You kept talking down to me, trying to make me feel bad, so I would be like, wow, he's so smart. That does not work on me. So yeah, another one bites the dust. And now we bring it back to my very first Tinder date. Well, not my very first, but one of my first. And this one's the worst. So, I matched with this guy, and I did not Snapchat him before, which was stupid. But what I matched up with was a guy who was super cute. He had dark brown hair and bright blue eyes. He was fit. He looked adorable. And we talked, and we got along really well. So I was like, oh man, I cannot wait for this date. He comes to my college, and we're gonna get food. Okay? Simple. As I was waiting for him to show up, he showed up, and I looked, and I was like, is this him? Like, it kind of looked like him, but I was like, seems weird. Yeah, what showed up was a guy who was severely overweight. Like, it wasn't like a little bit, it was a lot. And what I matched up with was someone that was fairly fit. Not like, I'm a bodybuilder fit, but like, you know, average. What showed up was not like that. Also, he had his ears gauged. He had a bunch of piercings. He had his hair, like, shaved really short. And he had, like, a mohawk going on. This just sounds like a bad movie. Basically, he didn't look, anything like his, picture at all. But I talked to him. I'm like, you know what? I'm here. Whatever. Maybe I can just get through this and just call it a night and be like, whatever. But as we sat down, he was talking to me. He started telling me about all this horrible stuff that happened to him. He told me things that I can't repeat. And, but I can tell you the one thing that really stuck. He told me about how at one point in his life, he worshipped Satan. Yep, also, he told me that he went to juvie too. I don't remember what it was for, but I remember it was really bad. So I was like, okay. And I was just like, I gotta get out of here. So I made up an excuse. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm supposed to go meet up with my friend Bethany. We're supposed to go get dinner. I totally forgot. And so I left. And then I hid in one of the nearby buildings on campus. I like hid in the girls' bathroom and I waited a solid 30 to 40 minutes. I wanted to make sure he left before I went out because I didn't want this dude trying to follow me home. And then I blocked him on everything because, you know, that's creepy. And fast forward to 2 years later, the dude made a whole new Facebook account and tried to friend request me after I blocked him multiple times. I blocked him again. But yeah, I've met so many guys that were either jerks or plain out crazy on Tinder. I've only ever met one guy that was really nice and he just ended up dating some other girl and it was whatever. But yeah, I don't like Tinder just because of that. It's really creepy. And the messages I would get on there I didn't like either because either it was, hey babe, you want to hook up? Even though I put in my bio that I don't do hookups, period. They're like, yeah. Or they would instantly call me a pet name and be like, hey gorgeous, hey beautiful, hey sweetie. I'm like, if someone calls me sweetheart, oh, it makes me mad. Or, hey baby, I'm like, don't you be calling me baby. I'm not your baby. I was like, I'm not for this. And then if I would Snapchat them, sometimes they would show me what they look like. They're really nice. We got along. Actually, who am I kidding? I only got along with one of them, really. And that just didn't happen. But sometimes I would be Snapchatting them and things would seem completely normal, having a good conversation, and then they would send me a picture of their junk. No. No. I did not consent to that. I did not want to see that, honey. Yeah, and anytime a guy has done that to me, I'm like, my respect for him went from here down to the floor towards hell. So I'm like, okay, well, lovely. So I end up just blocking them because I'm like, number one, I did not consent to that. And number two, I always forget that that stuff is always like, I could have saved that picture. And I could have sent it all over. You do not send people nudes. Don't do that. Yeah. It got to the point where I got so used to it that I was typing my paper out in college and a guy sent me one and I was like, okay. And I just like blocked him and I just kept typing my paper like nothing happened. I just became so desensitized. I was like, are you kidding me right now? Yeah, I haven't had a good experience with Tinder. Now, I tried Bumble for only like a week after I'd been on so many bad dates and had horrible conversations with boys. I was like, I'll give Bumble a try. And I was supposed to go on a date with one guy and he was nice to me. We Snapchatted, he looked exactly like what he said. We set up a date to go hang out. I show up, he told me to call him when I got there. I did. And he answered the phone and then he was like, hey, who is this? And I'm like, oh, it's me, Brooklyn. We matched up on Bumble. I'm here for our date. You know, being me. And then he hung up the phone. And he blocked me and unmatched me on everything. I have no idea. Now, personally, I don't feel like I gave Bumble a real chance. Because at that point, I was just so mad. So I just deleted all of them. I deleted Tinder, I deleted Bumble. I was like, forget it all! I wanted nothing to do with it, but I was only on Bumble for like a week. And I had conversations with other guys on there that were pretty nice. They weren't bad or anything, nothing happened, but they weren't jerks. And I was on Hinge for a brief moment, but I found that the guys on Hinge were just really creepy and I just didn't want to be part of that. I'm not sure if it's like the app specifically that I'm having issues with, or if it's just the people in my area, or if it's the fact that I have a little baby. I've been chased out of a lot of buildings. This is not a fun time. I think I am going to give Bumble a real shot this time. Because at the end of the day, if it crashes and it burns, that's okay. Because, hey, if it doesn't go well, at least I get a story. And if it does go well, hey, I got myself a cool dude. You know, a boyfriend. That would be nice. I've never had a long-term boyfriend. Woo! And I'm 23, I'm young. I got lots of time to figure that out. Anyway, so if you enjoyed this, I wanted to let you know that I do story times, skits, vlogs, and also I'm wanting to get into singing covers again. So please comment below a song that you would like me to sing and tell me your dating experiences. I want to know all the good stuff. I want to get to know my audience. Please like and subscribe and have a great day. Bye! That's my kind of thought. Everyone shut up! By the way, I'm filming in my room. Please stop yelling. Can you please stop?